everyone, today I wanted to share with you how I use these clear stamps from Everyday Explorers Co., how you can incorporate them in your journal pages, and also the necessary tools that you'll need to set this up as part of your journaling tools. I'm also going to be showing you a little update from my current journal so that you can catch up also on your journals, and I'd love to give you some tips on how you can do better with stamping in general, because I feel like it's kind of a foreign concept. But personally, as you can see here, these clear stamps that I'm using is from Everyday Explorers Co. Special thanks to Christine for sending me these stamps. And what I do is actually every time I'm almost done with creating my journal pages, as you can see there's still no text, I incorporate a lot of the stamps after decorating, because this creates a lot of dimension and character, and it also adds a lot of accent as well. The main mechanism of a clear stamp is using the clear block, as you can see here. Because of the portability of the clear stamps, you can actually use the clear block and a stamp pad ink and just basically get stamping. I personally like bringing the small ones, especially these small size stamp sets for travels, because they're just super convenient and very portable and very easy to clean actually. So what I like to do is try to layer them onto different parts of my journal pages. As you can see, there are elements of washi tape, stickers, some sheets of paper, and what I do is just find ways in the layout and in the page to add that in. As you can see also, when it comes to journaling, I try to really add variety in terms of the negative space. I used to be someone who journals to the brim, I fill each page to the brim, but now having this as a marker or a way for me to kind of create prompts, it's just easier to have space to add stamps in. So I also am using a different kind of ink for this particular spread. This is the pink one from 𝚽𝚍𝚘𝚅. I super love 𝚽𝚍𝚅 ink pads. I'm gonna link and list down all of the tools that I use, but these are the ones that I swear by, because after so many years of trying different inks, I find that 𝚽𝚍𝚅 just does the job and captures all the details. So I would say also, I've been using clear stamps for 5 years already, but I am not the best stamper. It takes a bit of pressure and a lot of practice. So that's also why I took out the traveler's notebook insert from the cover, because sometimes that can actually interfere with the stamp being pressed on the page. So you want to make sure that the surface is flat and that you put enough pressure to make sure that all the details are captured. One thing I also like to share is adding clear stamps also kind of explain the spread a little bit, the journal pages. This is a stamp set that I designed for Everyday Explorers Co. for the World Traveler Journaling Kit that came out in August of 2022, which is travel themed. I usually use it because I'm biased because I designed it, but also because anything that has travel or prompts that I use regularly, I tend to have by my side. Next time, I definitely want to share with you more daily journaling prompts and some stamps I use for daily journaling, because they can be a bit more different and more everyday life related, if that makes sense. So I also try to add variety in terms of where I put the stamps. There's actually no right answer to that. I just like adding them wherever, but I have this tendency to layer the stamps on different sheets of paper. If there's a sticker or some ephemera there, I'll try to layer it so that it has this kind of effect where it's oh, okay, there is a layering happening. So yeah, as you can see also, I've left the text part blank. That is usually in my journaling process, that's the last thing I do. And we're gonna be updating, and let's catch up a bit. You'll also see how I use some of the stamps for writing text on, because as you can see from the previous clips, the other stamps were kind of labels, so having those are great for writing memos or captions inside. So quick catch up, it's been a while, but life has been pretty interesting. I keep telling my friends I'm in my construction era this 2023 on my 30th year, which is fun. I'm recording this sometime in early May. So this spread is actually a little homage to having some of my products available at Yoseka Stationery. I feel like it's a full circle moment. So more on that soon. But I also wanted to share that this journal actually is like a mix of like travels and also like personal highlights like throughout the year. I really enjoyed this format because it just allows me to take time out to highlight specific days that I really liked, like standout days. So like there are like 2-3 days in a month that I really enjoyed. One of them was this day, which was the 22nd of April. I saw the weather was gonna be super sunny and I was like, I'm going out. I'm gonna take myself out. I've been super depressed and like not in my best shape the entire April and just needed some sort of like sun and like change of mood, and it was really nice. I walked around some parts of Kreuzberg and I also waited in line for ice cream. I also started a new book called Lessons in Chemistry, but it's currently on hold because I'm reading The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So I've been in my big reading era also this year, and this spread was just super like jolly and fun. It's all yellow. I love that Berlin has a lot of yellow in its, I don't know, in the city branding, like the trains, what else, the trams. Yeah, just the whole thing. It was a whole vibe. I really enjoyed that day. And I also walked around some parts of the canal and like ate lunch there, and it was just super nice and peaceful. This ink actually also is one of my favorites at the moment. It's called Kobe Shinkaichi Gold, and I haven't used it in a year, I think. And then lately I've been like revisiting some of the inks that I've been using or not using rather. So I'll do an updated ink swatch video at some point because I swatched all of my inks and I had like a full on like productive weekend doing that a few weekends ago. So yeah, this was a really nice day. I really had to document it, and I support going on solo dates. They're very healing, and I love having to not worry about anyone else except myself and what I like to do. So there's no pressure to go to a certain place or like do a certain thing. I just, walk and see and then let time pass by. So it was a whole thing. I really enjoyed it, and I would love to replay that day again. That week was also ice cream week. So the week after, I went to try another ice cream place. So the previous one I tried was at this place called Duo. They had this like wasabi peas flavor situation that my friend Lei was like, you should try it, and I was like, seriously? And I really liked it. And then a few days after, I went to Keats Ice, which is in Schöneberg, right beside Moranga, which is my favorite stationery shop in Berlin. So I was like, okay, I'm also gonna get ice cream. But actually that day was really cold, but whatever, the ice cream was only €1.50, so I decided to get it also. And of course I had to document it. Funnily enough, I don't really like ice cream because before, I really don't like ice cream because I'm allergic to dairy. So for me, it was like always a no. And then now I'm just like, sometimes I kind of get away with it, or like my dairy allergy seems to like, calm itself down a bit. So I really enjoy eating ice cream now. It's like a form of self-care. Sometimes I try to get it like once a week or so while walking. The opposite spread is actually also a nice day that I spent with my friend Lei. We wanted to try this pancake place, like a brunch place called Annelies, also in Kreuzberg. I feel like I've been exploring a lot of Kreuzberg, which is really interesting because I used to be super scared of that area before when I first lived in Berlin and I visited Berlin. So we had pancakes, and I was just telling Lei, like, I haven't had like proper pancakes. Like, I really like American style, or like, the thick ones. So Annalise was really good. And as you can see, there's like this label prompt that I put using the stamp. So that's where I'm gonna write the location. So that's also one way you can actually utilize some of the stamps. personally for me, it's either like it's added information about the journal spread in general, or it's going to be a prompt or something that like just highlights the whole page. If that's, yeah, pretty much that's how I kind of go about it. It's a really nice addition. It adds more context. Like ultimately, when you work on journal spreads, I find that the whole idea of documenting and like putting stuff together is just one thing, but the other thing is really like I try to treat it as like reporting your own life, you know? So having more context and providing that through different things like stickers, stamps, deco, photos, and art is just like a really great way to kind of showcase the journal spread and like explain. I mean, you don't really need to get into detail, but this is just how I do it, and I find that it's the one that works the best for my process. So the previous spread and this spread were both pink themed. So the previous one was actually I caught up with journaling with my best friend, and we went to 2 cafes, I think, on a Saturday to catch up. And in that same weekend, I hung out with my friend Amber, who I haven't seen since I lived in New York 5 years ago. So it's so nice of her to we finally caught up here in Berlin, and I'll be visiting her in Madrid later this year, which is really exciting for me. And it was peak sakura/cherry blossom season, so we had a really nice picnic at one of the parks, and we also had ice cream, of course. Since I've been in this whole like pink phase with the cherry blossom themed elements, having brown ink to kind of like balance it out for me is really great. And also I've been using this Faber-Castell olive green ink a lot. For some reason it works really well on my Pelikan pen. And yes, I am due for a fountain pen collection update sometime soon as well. But I think I've narrowed down my pen collection to 10 or 11, and I seem to like what I have now. So I think I'm set with all of my stuff actually. Speaking of collections, I recently got my Traveler's Notebook olive cover, in which I'm also working on a collection video, and I got the olive standard, and I'm really happy about it. It's now my memory keeping cover because I realized that I've been overusing my camel one. It's been 7 years, and it's the first cover that I actually have for the standard. So I try to also like document about these like small things like stationery finds and just like mini milestones, and I've been really enjoying this because for me there are some days that are just generally more fun to document about, and I think I found a proper balance of organizing those kinds of moments into actual journal pages, and then having a separate journal for writing down my thoughts and like not really like day-to-day stuff, but just like having these like things on paper really helped me kind of like remember them. And I really believe in this idea of how we live our days, and how we spend our days is how we spend our lives. So the days add up, and I really find that through documenting them and like picking out these key dates, it just helps you become more mindful about life in general, and like small things like getting a cover. And I also got my cover for free from Suna of Kiroku for a project that I did for her. So for me it was extra special getting that cover directly from her and as a gift, because I think three of my covers are actually from Kiroku because I wanted to support her. So yeah, generally that's how I use my stamps and how I catch up on journaling. I do hope that gave you some insight on my process even more. And here are some of the pages that we worked on. I really think that having the subtlety of the ink as well, that I used the ink color sand, it's one of my favorites. It just adds more context to the pages, but also it doesn't overpower it in such a way that it makes it stand out. I like having a mix of just simple elements, you know, getting the colors coordinated, but also making sure that they have their own place in the journal pages. I also find that I've been more minimal with my pages, which is honestly fine. I think journaling styles just constantly evolve as you get older and as long as you keep doing it, I guess. So I do hope you enjoyed this flip through and this video. I'll see you guys on the next one, and make sure to check out everydayexplorers.co for more clear stamps. Bye!